to my life. I can take a wild guess. You know what's crazy? What is this?
Sushi means sex.
What is going on this show?
It's the lighter side of the dark side.
Oh, no, he didn't.
What did you do, man? What did you do? Yes, happy 2014, motherfuckers. It's the Dark Mark Show. Welcome to the lighter side of the dark side, your Thursday night freak show. We had kind of a tenuous co-hosting situation. I thought for 1 week I wouldn't have a beautiful woman in the studio co-hosting, but Matt Zane took care of that.
Of course.
We have the beautiful, intelligent lawyer, Christine, will be co-hosting tonight.
Christina. Law school. She's almost a lawyer. Got a little bit more to go.
Christina, I do apologize for messing up your name. I just met you and
Yeah, I know you didn't expect her to come, but listen, the good news is that, you know, if we ever should get into any areas that we shouldn't be talking about, she can, you know, I don't know like what the rules are here. I'm sure
there's no rules. You can say whatever you want. And look, Matt Zane, superstar.
Really?
And I thought
it's been a while since anybody's called me that before.
Well, hopefully that'll be again. And I figured if anybody's going to bring a beautiful woman in here, it's going to be Matt Zane.
Of course.
And Alex Crescione is also here. He is
another beautiful person.
There's a lot of hot guys. Normally we have a male producer. We have Jeremy, who's in charge of Skidrow Studios. Today, Jenny has taken over, and boy, look between me, Matt, and Alex, look at all this beefcake, huh?
Yummy deliciousness.
Yeah,
exactly.
She looks really excited.
Yes, yeah. She looks thrilled.
Yeah,
but it's great. And first off, Josie Cat's on vacation. She's over in Vietnam, causing all sorts of ruckus. Or I think she's in Thailand, Cambodia. She's in some foreign country doing God knows what. She was playing with tigers, and I think the tiger needed a rabies shot after he bit her. But and then we were supposed to have Amy Ashton. Amy Ashton. Amy Ashton is a comedian. Elizabeth Ashton. I've had a weird day. Elizabeth Ashton was supposed to be our co-host. The lovely, beautiful Elizabeth Ashton, who always tells me I should have Alex Crescione on as a guest, and we did once.
And here he is again.
Now we're going to actually get in depth with Alex. She was supposed to be our co-host. She was supposed to be back on New Year's Eve. She was snowed in. She's in Wisconsin, and then I guess she's in Minnesota now, so she's snowed in, but. Sorry, Elizabeth. Next week, come on in, and I won't call you Amy Ashton. But before we get started, I do want to say the new year got started, but we got some good stuff coming up. Now, Society 1 is playing in the House of Blues on January 15th.
Oh, we're jumping right into it.
Well, no, we're going to get into that. The reason I mention that is the next day, on Thursday, January 16th, Dark Mark will be playing Flappers in the main room as part of Crazy Cindy's show. Crazy Cindy does these shows. Last time I did a show was at the Comedy Store. I had Brett Ernst from the Vince Vaughn Wild West show followed me and said I look like a Batman villain. And then I scared the shit out of Jeffrey Ross. So there's going to be headliners. Go to Flappers' website, check it out. Go to my Facebook page. You'll get all the information. So I didn't know who I was going to have this week. I knew Elizabeth was going to be there. I knew Alex was going to be here. And Elizabeth's like, well, Alex is working on Matt Zane's Society 1 project.
Yes, he is, yeah.
I said, Matt Zane? And I've heard all sorts of things about Matt Zane. The thing I have to apologize about, Matt, I don't watch a lot of porn.
Yeah.
I know I look like I do. I know I look at the target audience.
Yeah.
But I don't watch a lot of porn. So I've never seen the legendary Backstage Sluts series that you directed, that you were the auteur for.
Yeah. And it's funny because it's just like you mentioned that, you know, you've heard a lot about it, and I have to go through the same thing with my girlfriend here. She's constantly hears about stuff of me all the time. And none of it's any good. So,
I'm not sure if you saw on Facebook where this girl I know, Carrie.
No, I saw.
Said, is that the one where you threw lunch meat on girls?
Yeah, that's me. That's absolutely me. And I'm surprised when you wrote back and you were like, yeah, I'm not familiar. I didn't get that far into his work, but you obviously.
No. I knew it was you.
Yeah.
Because if you Google, and I'm sure, Christina, you probably, when you met him, you probably did.
I've Googled.
If you go to YouTube and put Matt Zane, the first thing that comes up is a VH1 clip where you're defending throwing lunch meats on women in your adult movies.
It is true, and it's really funny because we just watched that the other day, and like I have certain
Did
things.
you have sandwiches or?
No. I don't eat bread. That's a whole other story. But no, it's like whenever we watch stuff from my past, like we'll get together, and I'll say, okay, well, this is one of the things that is approved that I can let you watch, and that video we figured it was okay because it was on VH1.
Right.
And so we watched it. We just watched that one the other day of me, and I said, you have to see how I defend throwing lunch meat on women's butts. It's really
it is pretty funny.
It's comical because it doesn't make any sense, but I didn't really make any sense back in the 90s at all. It was, I was just out of my mind.
Well, the person that was interviewing you didn't make a lot of sense either.
Well, I don't think anybody really made a lot of sense on that special, but they had to make a special about a guy that was throwing lunch meat on chicks' butts. So, I mean, of course, the whole thing within itself was just absolutely insane.
Now, what sticks the best? Ham, salami, pastrami?
You're really making me go back into my memory here, because it's been a long time since I've done that stuff.
Capicola, what it is?
From what I remember, I think the bologna actually worked the best.
That makes sense. Although I think, if it was really thinly sliced ham, I think that might.
It doesn't work that way because it had this gelatin cake coating on it.
Right.
And here's the funny thing about it: if you're laughing because VH1 is actually talking about me throwing, it's just absurd if you think about it. The more absurd thing about it is that that's the third show that they made about me within that year that it came out.
And what year was that?
It was in 1999.
Right.
This is a true story, and nobody believes this because this was before YouTube and Facebook and all this stuff. I had 3 shows running on VH1 in 1999. I had 2 shows on MTV. At any given time, you could See Me on MTV, then literally turn the dial or click it over 2 things.
Was this really late at night?
No, it was during the day. It was at night. It was before they had Surreal Reality, and that was a precursor to Surreal Reality, the series that they had.
They just took the good stuff, the fucking out,
and they just played it and played it and played it and played it and played it, and it just never ended. And so, think about it like that. The fact that throwing lunch meat, it got me 6 different shows on the MTV networks for 1999, and I became a superstar because of bologna, and how it sticks on the rear ends of girls. It's absolutely insane, but everybody seemed to really get into it. Right. And they're still talking about it now. What is it, 14 years later?
14 years later. And it's the first thing that comes up, lunch meat.
Yeah. It's that's it. It's just that's how a good thing I did other stuff after that, or I would have just been that guy that found that lunch meat sticks to girls.
But you did stuff before then. You were a musician. You've been a musician since you were 13, from what I understand.
Yeah, but look, everybody's something before there's something. And the fact of the matter is I wasn't famous until... the VH1 wasn't putting me on air for music. They heard about the porn thing. It actually came.
How do you become a porn director? That's what I want to know.
Well, I was really into film when I was younger. I did film even before I did music. When I was younger. But back then it was really, really tough. VHS cameras, all that stuff. But I happened to get one, and so I just was making these little independent films and things like that. Right.
Did you ever star, or you just?
No. You see, that's the big misconception. Some people think that I did, but I'm gonna come clean. It's just that I'm not gonna say that there isn't video out there around of me circulating in some circles, but it wasn't. I was never a sar. It just happened that things got out of control, and these were
private tapes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. But you never put out a porno tape of you.
No, I
think people were looking at Ron Jeremy thinking it was you. I don't know. Maybe that was happened, or no? I guess not.
No, okay. Definitely not. All but the whole Tommy Lee thing when that all happened, I did it before he even did his thing. And the funny part about I ran into Tommy Lee about 3 years ago on the set of Californication. I actually had to go sing Home Sweet Home with him on This is just a weird thing how I got called to do this, right? And he walked up to me as soon as I walked on set, and he goes, "Man, you look really familiar." And I was just like...
Everybody does that. The host of Neighborhood Loves. I know you. I played in the band with you. Everybody knows
and
you.
I felt so horrible. So if he's listening, I apologize. But we're all older now. And even I look a little bit different, Maybe not from the neck down. I still look fucking great. But whatever.
Christina, can you vouch for that?
I'll vouch for that.
Okay.
Yeah. No, but yeah, and he saw me, and I just didn't want to tell him, oh, yeah, we were on this special because we had sex tapes, or we were in this magazine together.
Right.
Because he had a girl with him, and I was like, yeah, I think we played Download over in Europe together once or something like that.
Right.
He's like, why can't I place you? And then he was with this new girl, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember when you did that sex tape with, and it always happens that way.
Right. So you were doing backstage. Not only were you the precursor to Tommy Lee and all that, but when you see Kardashian, Paris Hilton, and all these people that have just made a fortune, billions, doing what you did in the 90s.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
You know, I don't really think too much about like the Kardashians and all that stuff, because the difference really is that yeah, I did the tape thing first, and I did all that stuff first, and I put the rock stars in there first with the backstage slots, and I haven't even touched on that yet. But you know, they were girls, and I'm not. So it's like that was like they broke the last taboo, really, and that's why it was such a big deal,
right?
You know, because now girls are trying to do it, and it doesn't matter. So whatever, you know, more power to them. It doesn't really bother me that much. It is what it is. They did. You know who I'm upset for? Ray J. I feel bad for Ray J. Because Ray J, that was his dick in the porno,
and you haven't heard from him since.
And his dick is not rich. And he's not rich, and he's not famous, and Kim Kardashian's worth $90 million. You know,
at the time, Ray J was more famous.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And then now,
and he had to put in the work and do it and do the tape.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've seen the tape. He put in a lot of work.
Yeah, you know, and that's who I feel bad for. For me, I don't really care. You know?
Right,
like,
right. But and it's funny because I've known of you. I've heard of you. I mean, everybody. I mean, if you don't know who Matt Zane is and you're watching the Dark Mark show, I don't know. You know, there's people, we take the Hollywood Underground and put it into your computer screen. Yeah. So there are some people that are like, oh, I just like the weird people that he has. Yeah. But I mean, if you're into industrial music, if you're into metal, you know Society One. And you know Matt Zane. If you're into porn, you're probably watching the show. If you're into industrial, you're watching the show. If you're into metal, you're watching the show. You know Matt Zane.
And that's a big problem, actually. We've been going through this problem, Christina and I, just recently. Just today, because the problem, and you can even ask, you can only talk about as much as you want, but I always got to preface it, you know, that when we started dating, I told her, I said, look, I said, I know you've dated some people in the past that have been, you know, somewhat visual, you know, somewhat out in the scene. I'm not going to say who or whatever. Right. But I said, not one of them was really famous. Right. I said, what's gonna happen when you start dating me is that everybody that knows you, probably most specifically men, it doesn't matter who they are, even if you don't think that they know me, every one of them is gonna call you and warn you about me. Every one of them is gonna know who I am, and nobody's gonna have a goddamn good thing to say about me. And we're still going through it. It just happened as of last night. Another really good friend of hers, you know, like, you know, so yeah. More, even if you don't admit it, you've probably heard about it, and most people.
No, in the late '90s, early 2000s, even if you never heard your music, which honestly I never did.
That's cool,
and I don't know how.
Most people never did,
because I was listening to it. I actually, because there's no fucking record store, so I was gonna go out and get a CD.
Well, thank you.
And I was listening to samples on iTunes and stuff. I like it.
Thank you.
I mean, that's my kind of stuff. I like that kind of industrial, groovy kind of metal music, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, if you, I hate to compare you to people, but if you like Manson, if you like Rob Zombie, if you like, you know, industrial metal, Rammstein.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in that Static X, it's in that vein.
Yeah, but you got to understand, I mean, I don't really take offense to it, because everything that I did was more powerful than the music in a sense. I'm not trying to put down my music career at all. And working with Alex actually is trying to, this time around, when I do the music thing, we're actually really trying to make something that's going to stand on its own. Right. But, you know, prior to that, a lot of the reason why people didn't really see the music first is because of everything else that I had going around.
Right. And I actually had Sing Quirin, who used to play with you, was on my show last year. It was that, we had some girl dancing on the table, so it's a crazy thing. But you know, so I mean, I'm familiar with the people that you have played with.
Well, I've played. I'll tell you right now. I've had so many people that have gone on and that have been snatched up by bigger bands. It would blow your mind.
It seems like Ministry's plucked everybody out of your band.
Just about. At one point, Ministry, believe it or not, and this is a wild story. Half of Society One was actually Ministry.
Right.
Al Jurgensen was playing basically in front of my band at one point.
Right.
And it really blew my mind because, you know, look, I love Ministry, and I remember watching them on Headbangers Ball when I was a kid. You know, I grew up back in upstate New York in like a little village, and I remember seeing, you know, and then they did the whole Lollapalooza thing, and they were like the biggest band on Lollapalooza. Right. I would have never imagined that this guy would have like basically pilfered my band members like at some point and be playing, you know.
So
like,
he's in a sense running Society One.
Yeah. At one point, for 2 records, when Paul Raven was still alive, he was playing in front of the Exit Through Fear version of Society One. Right. And not a lot of people know that. And a lot of people think that like I make that up. But that's the truth.
I know you're not making it up, because I did some research, and I'm a big Ministry fan too. And I forgot to mention I could tell that influence in your music too.
Well, I mean, that was actually a really big influence, and it was funny because you know, for him to actually go, you know, Al to go and kind of choose musicians, it's a really great compliment to me, because he must have listened to the records or music or something, and said, "Wow, you know, like I need to I obviously, this will be great for my new band.
But he never thought to collaborate with you.
No, I mean, there was obviously like a little thing between him and I when it went down because, I mean, look, the fact of the matter is it was my band first and then, he had my members. And listen, more power to them.
Do you have some embarrassing videotapes of Al and some backstage sluts? Is that what's happening?
No, and I do have a lot of other guys, and some of them I've never released,
Right, and we're going to get back to that because these two motor mouths will go on all fucking night. I don't want to shortchange Alex because this happened last time you were here.
Yeah.
Last time you were here, it was my birthday show. You were in the studio with a bunch of hot girls.
That was fun.
And you talked maybe twice. I
wasn't important at that time.
You were enjoying it like I was.
But he was probably getting all the girls' numbers.
But he probably was. No, Alex. He's very quiet.
Indeed.
Very under the radar. But you're a classically trained musician. Mm-hmm. How many instruments do you play?
Oh, let's see. I play piano, guitar, bass. I'm not a very good drummer, but those three.
So basically everything.
Kind of.
Because you were described as like a Prince Trent Reznor thing. And
what?
Well, I was talking to your mom, but you play all the instruments. Is what I'm saying.
You were talking to my mom?
No, actually, Elizabeth was telling me that you were like a Trent Reznor guy. You could play every instrument, and it was telling me how great a musician you were. And then I listened to your stuff too, and I was very impressed.
Right on, thank you.
And and I didn't know you were in Gothic Beauty magazine too.
Yeah, it was. We had an online feature instead of the print, but
you weren't in print, okay?
No, but it was actually kind of better because it's easier to to distribute and everything. And
right
get out there,
right.
So it was cool.
And also you played some because you apparently your music is somewhat vampire influenced.
There's a bit of that in it, yeah.
Are you a vampire?
No.
Okay.
That's the thing, like everyone.
Because I've had vampires in the studio.
Everyone is kind of putting us into that category because on the first album there's a couple songs with that kind of a theme to it, but we're not a vampire band at all.
But you played a vampire convention.
We did. We got asked to play the Austin Vampire Ball in.
I didn't even know there was an Austin Vampire Ball. Where have I been? You should have told me this, Alex.
It's cool. I think we played the second year of it.
Because I went to the New Orleans Vampire Ball, which was cool. Mm-hmm. But I've done that before. I've never been to Austin. I was thinking about going to Austin this year. I was like, man, I should have gone there.
Yeah, I
could have hung out with you and got your leftovers and the whole thing.
Have you been there before?
I've never been to Austin. I should go. I hear it's great and it's and Austin vampires, Texas vampires.
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of hot ones too.
Oh yeah, because I hosted a vampire convention once, and you ever played in vampire conventions, Matt?
Probably.
These girls think they're real vampires.
I don't know.
This girl's trying to show me your fangs. I'm like, dude, you just didn't get braces when you were a kid. You're not a fucking vampire. Did you get some of that? Like people really thought they were vampires?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like when they say hold the garlic, they're not kidding. No. Okay, so
it's a lifestyle.
Right, right. And when you started, you were more into black metal and
actually,
how do you go from classical music to black metal? That's what I want.
It was interesting. I started on piano, and then I started on guitar. I moved to guitar, and then I ended up getting into actually when I started getting into heavy metal is when the new metal scene was exploding. It was like Korn and Cold Chamber, Society 1.
Right.
And that's what got me into it. And then I went from that to the more extreme black metal, death metal.
Right.
And then I switched into the combination of all of that, which is like kind of melodic gothic metal, which is what I'm doing now.
Kind of what you're doing now, yeah. And funny you should mention Korn because we're going to get back to the motor mouth, but we'll get back to you. You were telling me out in the lobby, something about Jonathan Davis from Korn, his bachelor party?
Yeah, back in the day, Jonathan and I actually used to be friends, before I had my little falter of fame, and then most of the people they run away.
Is this pre or post the porno?
When did I know John? I knew John during like the peak of all the porno stuff. Yeah, if you actually go, and I'll tell you, if you go to Follow the Leader, his biggest record ever, he thanks me by name on that record.
Okay.
Yeah, I was actually, believe it or not, even invited into that session and watched most of that record get recorded down at Energy. But the interesting thing about me and Jonathan Davis, besides the fact that he was in my movies, was I actually threw his bachelor party for him. I think the second time that he was married, or maybe the wife that he's married to now. I don't know who he's married. I don't know.
I'm not up on Jonathan Davis, his marital situation.
Yeah, me neither. But I'll tell you what I did. I got a call from his manager one day, and he goes, "Look, man," he goes, we got to make this like really cool." And I go, "Well, don't worry about it, leave it to me, right?" So we had all these, we had all these things, and we threw it at my house at the time. And we had, obviously we started off with, lap dances, strip teases, whatever, and then we went to the point where Cover your ears for a second. We actually let him put a glove on, and there was this girl named Alicia Class. I don't know if you remember her, but she was like this really big Seymour Butts girl who's like really famous.
Well, like I say, the name sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, her thing was,
porn.
we actually let him fist her, right in the crowd. Like, this is a big party,
Right.
And everybody was there, like from Pauly Shore to Les Claypool, Tito Ortiz was there. I mean, it was like,
Right,
whatever.
Right.
So, we did all these various things and all this stuff. And at the very end, we had this really attractive, like, Asian girl come out and do, like, this super dance and everything. And it was, like, the big climactic thing. It was super really, but nobody knew except for me that it was a tranny. Right. So after this big
pre or post op.
This was had a thing the whole bit.
Okay, pre-op,
pre-op, and that was the joke. Because everybody was like getting really into it in the whole bit, and everybody, and I'm the only one that knew that obviously the tranny. And then right at the time, turned around, everybody's like, yeah, they got so worked up. She was amazing.
Right.
And then boom, dropped those pants, and that little fucking dingling, popped out, and people just went crazy. I mean, it was just like, holy shit. And he ended up loving it, and everybody loved it. And it was like the greatest fucking thing ever. And yeah, that was his bachelor party.
You got to take your little dicks with your fisting. I mean, you can't have one without the other.
Yeah, it was a special evening. It really was. That was also the evening that Fred Durst came up to me and said that he wanted me to sing on the next album, which was Significant Other, and luckily I didn't.
What do you mean luckily you didn't? That album was huge.
I don't care, because it's just like...
I mean, the money that album made, and I don't like Limp Bizkit myself. I was, but you can't deny... Listen, at that time, that was the biggest fucking thing ever.
Oh, they were, and I totally agree with that. But if you remember when they were trying to get a guitar player years later, I mean, even people like Dino were saying that it was career death. Like just like nobody respects it. I mean,
Right.
So
I mean, it came and it went. I remember at the time, just you couldn't get away from that shit.
Oh no, I couldn't get
rolling.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up, but. Everybody was into it.
No, we used to be friends. Yeah, he was in a couple of my flicks too. The first time he was ever in Spin magazine was in one of my articles. He came over to my house and said, hey, I mean, he'll deny it now, but if you go back and you look at the first time he was ever in Spin, it was when I was in Spin in 1998.
Right.
And he had a little thumbnail because he was in one of my movies, and he came over and he looked at the frame thing up on the wall, and he goes, "Man, Matt, thank you so much. I've always wanted to be in Spin magazine."
Right.
And who knew that he was going to blow up?
He was going to be on the cover.
The biggest rock star. But
now, when you say that Jonathan Davis and Fred Durst and all these people, they're not fucking in the movies, though, are they?
Well, no. The Fred Durst actually he let a girl put her hand down his pants in one of the movies, and he did it like in an afro wig. I guess he thought he was going to be disguised. I don't think they knew they were going to be as big as they were. I kind of had an inclination. I was just telling her the other night that they were going to be big. So, and Jonathan,
I was going to say the afro wig is that you don't get props on the street for that one. I don't know what
he was doing really, but Jonathan Davis didn't. But believe it or not, my good friend Lynn Strait, rest in peace.
Right.
He actually from Snot. He actually was the first rock guy before Evan Seinfeld, before all these cats.
Right.
He actually did it in the movie. He whipped it out and he full on did it. Two girls. So some of the rock stars, some of the rock stars did.
R.I.P. I mean, but he was probably the biggest name, or was there other names, or
that ever did it, or in the movie?
In the movie.
I mean, in the movie, obviously, Jonathan Davis was,
right, but I mean, who actually had sex?
Yeah, definitely Lynn.
Right.
I mean, Lynn was just crazy. I mean, he was just always up for like a really good time.
Right.
So he just was just. I mean, I know a lot of kids.
Do you still do the pornos? I don't even know. I mean, I'm so backwards.
No. I mean,
I remember Dirty Debutantes. That's how back I go. I don't even know. Yeah.
No, I mean, I kind of got ostracized from the industry. I mean, they took what I did and they made a whole thing out of it, and then everybody, it just changed, man. When I did my thing, and then all the companies kind of followed what I did, and then they started trying to pull in people to direct, like Dave Navarro, who directed movies, and they get all these celebrities now into being sex tapes now and stuff. So after I went and got into the whole suspension thing and the Satanism thing, when now it's like they were too afraid. Like I remember hearing, I had an interview up over at Penthouse, and they won't admit it, but the president over there, whoever was heading the production, said, "Oh no, that's Matt Zane. He put the tattoo on his back and the hooks down at that. No, we don't want him in these offices. No.
But wait a second. So, but you mentioned Dave Navarro. He's all to suspension now. That's all I.
Well, I mean, Dave Navarro. You can go to his blog. He learned suspension and got into it. Not learned, but he originally got involved in it through me. He had a show.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know this, again, because the blog wasn't that big, and he had a show on a Spread Television, which was like an internet thing at the time.
Right.
And we met, I think, at the Rainbow one night through somebody.
Right.
And he knew who I was, and he was like, somebody said, oh, yeah, you should have Matt on your show and do a suspension. He never did a suspension. He didn't even know what it was.
Right.
I have pictures from the show. And I went to his show, and he pulled me aside before the suspension. He goes, hey, Matt, nobody knows this yet, but I directed a porno, too, and it's going to come out. And I was like, oh, dude, totally cool for you.
Right.
And he was a super nice dude. And then I took my shirt off to go do this, and he's just sitting there with his mouth open, just watching this whole thing. He couldn't believe it. And he goes,
because I always see him in fetish clubs now, and he's all, he's into everything.
Yeah, well, no, but he tells, you can search the blog, and he says straight up, he goes, after I saw Matt do it on my show, and I asked him, what it was about, it still took me, I think he said it still took him 3 years to get it up enough the courage enough to actually try it.
Right.
And he uses the same piercer that I do, Steve Joyner, who is a big-time guy from Core. Right. And then he eventually even started to integrate it into Jane's Addiction. But we were doing that before them. And again, I'm not talking, I love Jane's Addiction. I mean, Jane's
Addiction's great.
Yeah, I think there's nothing about this is their performance. A lot of people don't know that we were doing that, and I was suspending and singing, years and years and years before Dave and before he brought Jane's in.
I was telling Jenny that I think it was crack.com put you as the number 2 most irresponsible, crazy live act in the world.
Of all time.
Of all time.
Yeah,
of all time.
Of all time.
And it's funny because Gigi Allen was not number 1.
No. Because you know why? Because I love Gigi Allen, too, and I'm a big Gigi Allen fan. We used to actually watch the Hated movie over in Europe before we'd go on stage just to get us pumped up.
I love the Hated movie.
Yeah, it's great,
but,
right?
I mean, but I would never go see him. I mean, throwing shit at people.
But that's the shit's the scariest part. But here's the thing. Anybody can shit and throw it at people, and anybody can try to punch people out. Yes, he did it, and I give him credit for that, and he was the true punk rock of all punk rock legends. I totally dig it.
It's funny because I took my nephew to see Suicidal Tendencies, and I was telling him, he's like, who do you think was the ultimate punk rocker? I'm like, well, you got to see this. And I showed him Hated, and he's like, dude, what the fuck is that?
And it is crazy, but the thing is, I think the reason why we kind of beat him was because anybody could come around and still do that. And people have tried to beat my suspension records because not only was I the first singer to sing in front of 40,000 people suspended, full set, rock star, whole blah, 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 blah. After that, I actually broke a bunch of world records in suspension.
Right.
I broke the longest world suspension. I was the first guy to play guitar suspension. And, people have been trying to beat it since, and they just can't. So it's just kind of like, that's why I think it made it, because it's something that you just can't reproduce.
Well, tell me what's the sensation of it, because I still don't get it. Well, trust me, if anybody has loose skin around here, it's me. So I mean, I should probably get into it, but I don't know. I mean, I've read interviews with you say it's painful.
Yeah. Well, the 6-hour one was painful. That was the most painful thing I ever went through.
Right.
Ever. I mean, that no man in recorded history has ever hung for 6 hours with 4 hooks before.
What was the previous record?
Chris Angel held it, but he held it with 8 hooks at 5 hours and 42 minutes, and he did a Superman, which means he was horizontal.
Right.
I did a vertical hang with only 4 hooks for 6 hours.
Oh.
So that was so painful that I started having auditory hallucinations, and I was having out of body experiences, and it took me 3 months to recover. And
I think Christina's having an out of body experience right now. She knows about it.
She knows something about that stuff.
And is the skin flappy afterwards?
Yeah, it's not just flappy. You get air bubbles and stuff. When I actually did download over at Europe, I had to get on a plane the next day to start another 2 in America, and at one point, because of the altitude, the air bubbles were getting bigger in my back, and I actually had to take off my shirt and show the staff at one point to see if because I was bleeding profusely down my back, and I explained to them yo, I just did this show yesterday, and this is the result, so everybody calm down, because it was bleeding through my shirt, and I'm on the plane. They didn't know what the hell's going on, having some type of exorcism or something, happening. So yeah, I mean,
Stigmata.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there's all types of repercussions, but it really depends on what type of suspension it is, or how long you go up there for, or whatever. But the 6-hour was definitely painful, and it was the worst one that I ever did.
So, and there's a famous picture that you have it on your website, I guess, on your Facebook page, of you over 40,000 people suspended, and it's crazy.
Listen, that was the
crowd must have been going crazy.
Well, you got to understand, people look at suspension now, and you mentioned Dave Navarro, and again, I really dig Dave, and I think he's an amazing dude, and I think he's done an amazing thing by
Dave was stalking me earlier last year. Yeah. Everywhere I would go, he'd be there, and I'm like, dude, Dave, You gotta leave me alone.
Yeah.
Okay, I dig you. I like Jane's Addiction, but come on, dude.
No, so it's cool. So a lot of people know about suspension now, right? But when I was doing it back in the days that I started to do it, there was only 3 people that had ever done it, but prior to that, not 3, but only 3
Chris Angel.
Chris Angel was one of them. He did it once, and there was Joey Strange that was doing a lot of really great stuff. Joey Strange was the first guy to get suspended from a helicopter, and he was on Ripley's Believe It or Not, and then Chris Angel ripped it off from him a couple of years later.
Right.
So, anyways, there was those 2 people, but nobody had ever done it in the context of music, and people were still trying to. Nobody even thought it was real. Still.
Right.
So when I did it at the Download Festival, I mean, people were passing out, people were puking, people were crying. Right. I mean, because it was still so different and new. Nobody really knew what was going on. It was so big over there that the BBC, they made a television show about Download. It was just about Black Sabbath and us. And then we got nominated for like a Grammy over there. It wasn't the equivalent of like a Grammy. It was like the London Symphony Orchestra in like Society 1 and like
Best Live Show, is that what it is?
Was that? Best live show, yeah, of the year. So yeah, it was a really...
the Symphony Orchestra beat you out?
They did actually, yeah.
I had a feeling.
Yeah, they did.
I had a feeling. Because they're not going to vote U2 over you, but come on.
Yeah. No, but yeah, no, so it was really wild because it was something new and a lot of people just weren't really understood what it was. No singer had ever done it before. And it was just, and nobody's ever suspended in front of a big crowd ever before either. I mean, it was a million firsts all over the place.
So now that suspension is sort of mainstreaming.
It's a lot more mainstream now.
You're always ahead of your time.
Oh, absolutely, but I really get credit for it. You know, Dave Navarro gets the credit.
Well, not on this show, and Dave's cool. And
no,
actually,
I dig Dave.
Yeah, but he wasn't the first guy to do it.
No, and he says it. And that's the other cool thing about Dave. A lot of people give him slack for being such a pretty man and all that stuff. And I tell everybody.
Well, not me because I'm prettier, but
I hear you. I think any guy would cut off their nut normally to be him. But no, the cool thing about him, unlike a lot of people, like when I beat Chris Angel's record, back in 2008, Chris got me banned from his website. And he, as soon as you typed in my name to talk about,
I was going to ask if there was some bad blood between.
There was some bad news, and he would have people. I knew somebody that was on his staff actually at the time, and they called me secretly and said, "Yeah, we had a 15-minute conversation about you in the meeting up at the Luxor today about how you beat the record, and we're just going to try to keep it. We're just going to try to suppress it because his fans can't talk about it."
Right.
So yeah, it was just, it's totally more mainstream now. But back then it wasn't. It was something new. It was something different. It was something really exciting. And it was scary for us even because even the people that I was doing suspension with didn't understand if it was even possible. We're going to try to sing while suspended? Is that even possible? Well, I don't know. It's never been done before. We didn't know. Right. We had no idea.
And did it affect your singing?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was harder to play guitar when I did the guitar thing in like 2007.
Well, I would imagine, yeah.
But yeah,
you bend the notes, your hookup pops out, something like that.
It felt like it, But yeah, it was definitely something new, and I've had a ton of people come up to me since then. I've done suspension because of you.
Right.
I mean, even Dave, again, super cool guy that admitted, like, hey, partially the reason why I got into this was because of Matt. So,
and how does that make you feel?
Well, I wrote Dave after that because we're friends on Facebook. I said, dude, thank you so much, man.
Yeah.
Somebody of your caliber. I mean, you're obviously a bigger star. You didn't have to say anything. So thank you. I really appreciate it.
You know what's funny about Dave Navarro is I remember I was at a club and I was talking to this girl. She's like, oh, Dave Navarro's over there. I'm like, yeah, I know. He follows me around. What can I tell you? And she's like, he sucks. I'm like, he's a fucking great guitar player. What are you talking about? She's like, he plays guitar? Like, nobody knows what the fuck he does now.
Yeah, I know. It's unfortunate because those are amazing records. And he's a great guitar player.
Right.
And he's a great songwriter.
Yeah.
But nobody knows. They just think he's like some pretty guy that runs around and it's on tattoo shows, whatever.
Right. That's what people think of Alex Crescione, who you're working with now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now you're producing Society 1.
Correct.
One of your influences.
Yeah.
And how'd that work? How'd that come about? How'd you meet this fucking maniac?
Oh, we met through Tina.
Oh,
who's Tina?
We did.
Not Christina.
Not me.
No, there's a Tina.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Is this somebody possibly? And Christina, could you cover your?
No, she knows.
Is this somebody maybe the two of you had sex with? Like
no.
Oh no.
Oh, like.
Well, no, I did have sex with her, but I didn't want to.
Did you have sex with her, Alex? No. So she introduced you to Matt.
Well, yeah, I was trying out for her new project, and they were dating, and he was doing.
This is not Tina Yothers from Family Ties, is it?
No.
I wish.
I'm just trying to think of famous Tina.
Yeah,
it's not Tina Turner.
No.
Wait, that would be cool too.
Wait, was it Tina Turner?
No, I know that. I would be proud of that. I'd be like, yo, hey,
How do you? I don't even know how to pronounce her.
Oh, me
last
neither. I
name.
don't even remember it actually. To tell you the truth.
Okay, some unknown Tina. So
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
and,
and have you met Matt before? Or you just,
No.
But you were a fan of Society One. Mm-hmm. You'd actually heard of it, and you got past the porno movies. And did you watch the porno movies?
I haven't seen any of them.
Right.
I'm curious.
But you've heard the stories.
Yeah, I've heard.
See, I'm never going to be able to go to Subway again. You know that.
Yeah, well, hey, you know.
But so
that's what I do. I change your consciousness forever. You know, I introduce you to things, and
I'm not going to be able to go fishing. I can't go to Subway.
Listen, you know, things get synthesized, and then like the association between the two just never goes away.
I guess not.
That's the problem. You know, I told her, you know, after dating me, nothing's ever the same ever again. That's it.
So I mean, but Society One. Now, the last album you guys put out was when?
Well, the last album that we actually released, or the last one that was on a label. I mean, there's
the last one that was out. That was the last one that the last full length.
The last real record that got like a big push that we did a world tour for.
Right.
It was called The Sound That Ends Creation, and it came out on Earache Records, and I think that came out in 2005.
Right.
Yeah.
And but I mean, and you've done stuff since. I mean, you probably put something out last year that I didn't even know.
No, you know, we really haven't done much since. That's the whole thing. Like, I did so many things after that. The suspensions and my books, and I did acting for a while, and I was on some shows.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at the books. By the way, I forgot to call you your lordship too. That's please forgive me.
That's quite all right.
But you've written Transcendental Satanism and Release and Demise. And can I take these home and read these? Is this or do I have to give them back?
Oh, I don't know. Should we? Yeah, you can take them. Sure.
No, I'll give them back.
I mean,
well, a collection of poetry, which is interesting.
No, I mean, we can. We'll get more. Yeah,
no, that's okay. No, I'll get back to you.
If you're really gonna read them for real, then you can take them.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. If you're gonna, I don't like giving my books away. I don't care about records, whatever. But my books, for whatever reason, I don't know.
I'll give them back to you. No. I'll buy them. Don't worry.
No. I don't want you to buy them. That's not the point. I don't mind giving them away if you're really gonna read them. That's the thing. If you're telling me you're really going to read those, you can have those. Right. But if you're just going to throw those like to the side, like with all the other guests that people give you shit and stuff, then you got to give them back. That's the only thing. If you're going to read that, and I'm going to expect it. You're on my friends list now. I will write you in 6 months.
We're friends now. Yeah.
I'll be like, yo, Mark, tell me like what you thought about this, and I'm going to expect an answer.
Okay,
so if you can have those if you're really going to read them.
All right. Well, I don't want to sit there and fight it with you over that for the rest of the show. We'll figure it out. By the end of the show, I'll make up my mind whether I'm going to read them or not.
Okay. If you don't,
fair enough.
That's all I'm saying. If you don't read them, just give them back. But if not, they're yours.
But I mean, it's interesting. Yeah. I mean, I just I don't know much about Satanism. I mean, I know a little bit.
Well, you don't need to know anything because I redefined the whole thing and made my own version.
Oh, okay.
So there you go. You can just start brand new right from that book right there.
Right, and the poetry I can just, which is under the Lord Zane.
Yeah.
Same thing. But look, getting back to, so Tina says that's Society One. So you haven't really put out a real, a full length album since 2005.
Yeah, we did like some videos.
Okay.
And that was it since then. We never really put out a full length. We recorded a full length.
Right.
Never released it.
And we're going to get back to that because speaking of videos, I watched the video that you just directed with DMC from Run DMC and Wayne Static from Static X.
Yes, another facet of my career that people are not very aware of.
Well, it's interesting because I don't want to lump you in with every porno director, but I've met Gregory Dark. I went to a party at his house. Real nice guy. Yeah. He directs music videos too.
Yeah. But he's really the only one though. He's really the only one that came out of porn that was able to go in. He did a movie as well. So he's there's not many of us.
Right.
So you're not lumping us into a lot. There's really only two of us.
Right.
There's Gregory Dark and then there's me. Because a lot of other people that try to cross over, they couldn't have.
And what other music videos have you directed?
I've done stuff for Wayne Static. I did his last 2 music videos for Pig Hammer. And what was it called? Assassins of Youth. That was a really big one. I did Orgy's last video.
Okay.
I did something for Zakk Wylde last year. It wasn't a music video, but it was with his music and him, and he was in it. It was a little short.
Right.
I did DMC in Static X. I did that video. I was operator. I didn't direct, but I was actually DP on a Tim Armstrong video of Rancid for a side project that he had. Who else did I do last year? Am I missing anybody? Did I get it? Those are like the big names that I did. I've been trying to direct a music video for Alex's band Diminished Seven, but apparently I haven't impressed them enough yet. So
it's not true.
So
and how do you describe your band? Was it Diminished Seven? Correct. Okay.
It's It's a mixture of like gothic metal and there's a little bit of industrial here and there, but it's pretty melodic and it's heavy guitars, melodic vocals, lots of synths.
Right.
So it's kind of like if you took Cradle of Filth, Hymn, Catatonia, My Dying Bride, and stuff like that. And you Mushed them together.
And you sing, and you play all the instruments.
On the recordings, yeah.
Right. So the Trent Reznor style. And then you got a band. That's good. And so going back, so Matt Zane wants you to produce his stuff.
Well, no, it didn't happen that easily. He had to work for it.
It was.
Did you have, I mean...
Well, what happened was we
have to,
No, nothing like that.
There was no fisting involved?
There was no fisting involved.
Okay.
No, well...
Now, he's a good-looking guy and all, don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah. No, trust me. I posted a picture of him. Instagram is going crazy.
Yeah, I know. It must be nice, you know?
Yeah. Oh, please. Both of you guys, you walk into a club, forget it. And then I post pictures of you. Girls were going fucking crazy. I post a picture of me. They're like, you look okay. And you guys, you get the long hair. You get the rock star look. I mean, it must be great walking into a club. Well, here's the thing. Walking into a club and just turning everyone's head. Well, a lot of guys, too.
He does, for real. I have a girlfriend. So as long I turned her head, I can't believe I got her. So that's whatever.
Score.
Yeah, it is a huge score.
Right.
Trust me. Like, I tell her every day. But, I mean, look at her. Look, she's got the T-shirt on and everything. You know?
It's very, very, very good marketing.
But Alex, yeah, he does that for sure.
No, I've seen Alex in the club. I've seen him, and he's very low key though.
The first time we met, what was that?
Noise Factory.
Noise Factory.
Yeah, I was gonna have him on. I had Sweetie from Flavor of Love, and I was gonna pair them together, and then something happened, and yeah. So, but I saw you're very stealth. You're very nonchalant. You let them come to you.
Well, you could do that when you look like him, though. But
see, Matt and I mean, as people have noticed through this whole show, which is. God, it just went by like this.
Is it done?
No. We got 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
But Matt and I, we just walk in and try to take over a room, and we're just blah, 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 blah. You're just like sitting in the corner going...
Yeah, but he doesn't have to, though. I mean, look at him. I tell him all the time. I say, Alex, enjoy it now because another 10 years, dude. It's especially the amount that you drink, you know?
hey, yeah.
Well, are you Italian?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Cressione. And you're going by the real name, too.
What's that?
Go by the real name, too.
Yep.
We're all Italian here. All three of us. I'm Sicilian.
Hey, I'm a quarter Italian, so it's come on. Hey, can we get some spaghetti over here? Let's get some linguine going on.
But getting back to Alex's amazing producing skills, though.
So how did he have to work for you?
Okay, so here's the thing. I met him through this audition that he came for this project that I was writing for. I'm not going to mention who, whatever. But he was really excited, I remember, because Logan Mader was actually in on it. Okay. And he wanted to hand his CD to Logan.
Right.
So he pissed off the actual artist because that's what he did.
And it's a big major label artist or somebody that used to be on a major label?
It's relatively...
Somebody that we would know.
Yes.
Okay.
And he pissed her off from doing that. Right. And I liked that. And I was like, hey, dude, that's cool. You never told me.
Wow, you're an asshole. I like it.
We never had that conversation?
No.
Oh, you blew it because of that's what happened. You should have never walked in. Because you were great. You were like a real rock star. Everybody said afterwards, like, wow, you had really something really special about you. That was a conversation that all of us had. So that should make you feel good. But then when you handed that CD off, yeah, that really pissed her off. And then I think you got the gig and you turned it down.
I did.
You did. And then that was it. After that, you were like.
Whoa, wait a sec. So this is a high-profile gig.
It wasn't quite yet. It is now.
It had potential to be?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, he probably would have been in a...
And you turned it down for what?
Basically because... I don't know. I wasn't really feeling the new material that she was sending me. And
And who didn't write the new material? The new material you heard, I didn't write.
Oh,
yes. I just want to put that out there. Okay. Yeah, it was written by the other individual.
Oh.
The newer material, you would have liked the stuff that you originally heard you liked. That was stuff I wrote.
Oh.
Yeah, he's learning all stuff.
You guys are like talking in code. I can't even.
No, okay, but anyways. So we kept in touch. And, he just kept improving his studio, and he just kept producing bands and stuff. And I actually did a record last year with some big producers. I had Raymond Herrera from Fear Factory.
Right.
And Jeremy Blair that did freaking Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
Okay, and he did some other stuff, too. And they were great. They were really cool. But when it was said and done, I don't know. Like, it just... there was something that they've been around the block a million times. I didn't really know how much they really were into it. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. Just something, for whatever reason, the record didn't really gain any traction. We didn't even release it. We sent it to a bunch of people. Right. And finally, it just came to the point. I said, Alex, your ear is to the ground. You are in the scene. You listen to all the music. You know all the latest stuff. It's like you're just a younger guy that's just, you're hungry. You're not up in the hills, sitting around doing blow, overlooking everything, treating people like shit.
Right, like I am.
Yeah. And I said, hey, let's just try to do this one little demo thing and see how it turns out.
Okay.
And we did it, and it was good enough. And I'm like, okay, I think this is where we need to tweak things, but let's do it. And that was it. Hired him, and we just did all the drums. We did 9 songs, 10 songs, something like that. And we're just going to be releasing one song every 6 weeks.
Okay. That seems to be the new thing, yeah.
I'm just trying to do the new thing because the music industry has changed so much since I've been gone, and that's part of getting Alex, because he is so talented, and he may be quiet, but the guy is he's an amazing musician. Forget all the jokes I make about the dude because I joke with him all the time, but but he, as a producer, I really think he has the potential. Like in the next 10 years, he won't come in here and have a show with us. Me and you, we may be friends. We'll come in here. Christina will come in. Alex, he won't.
I think Alex would come in.
No,
he'll come in.
Yeah,
if Elizabeth's in, if she makes her flight and comes in, because I know he emailed me today. He's like, Elizabeth can't make it. Are you still doing it? I'm like, yes, I'm still doing it. It's my show. But Alex, now when you go on tour, what type of stage persona do you have? Because you're so low key. I can't even imagine you.
It's nothing crazy. The show is it's very our show right now is just pretty low key. It's nothing crazy. It's just about listening to the music, and all my musicians are really good. They're all very talented.
But you're not like a David Lee Roth jump around guy. You're more of a guy.
I just kind of chill and just look sexy.
Hey, if it works, it works. Yeah, and I'm sure the girls go crazy.
So far,
you might. I don't even know if there's any vampires left in Texas after you got through with them.
There's maybe, I don't know.
But you don't perform in the nude.
No.
You know who does? Or who has?
Who did?
You don't do it anymore?
No. I'm still trying to keep the body looking the same after all these years.
So if we go to the House of Blues on January 15th.
They gave me provisions already, and she was with me, and she
knows.
Hooks. Oh yeah. They won't even let me take my shirt off at the House of Blues.
What?
Am I lying? Remember the big conversation we had? Remember what he said? He was just like, yo, dude, here's the rules this time when you go to the House of Blues.
But can she take her shirt off?
No, definitely not. And if she could, then there would be even more people. But
I was going to say.
Yeah. No, none of that at House of Blues. And I almost got arrested for that on multiple occasions, and you can find the article up online still. I had to get smuggled in the trunk of a car out of Milwaukee 1 year because I did that. And the guy that I was actually booking my band at the time, he was a very famous booking agent. He lost all these bands. None of his bands were ever allowed to come through there again because of that. I got kicked off the Orgy tour because I did that once. I got detained by the police. I had a lawsuit once because of it. So yeah, I don't do that anymore. That part's done. I just let that. The only person
your dick is wanted in 36 states.
Pretty much. And the only thing that I do now, the only person that sees me take my pants off is my girlfriend, and that's it. That's it. I may take my shirt off.
You're such a nice guy. What happened to the old Matt Zane?
Listen. That we talk about that all the time, and listen, I just want to say one quick thing about all that. Look.
Right.
Listen, if you eat.
If your penis could talk.
No, listen, no.
Thank God it can't.
Yeah. Listen, you when you are inundated with that lifestyle, and for real, when it's to the point where it's just it's like anything else. You eventually get over it, and you got to move on and do other stuff.
Sure.
And it wasn't healthy at the end. It really wasn't, because I could tell you some horrible stories. Right. Maybe another time, because
I was gonna say we got time for one.
I just want to make sure that we get all my plugs in.
The Papa Roach song. You have to mention that.
Let's talk about Papa Roach, and then we can.
Papa Roach wrote one of their big singles, I Almost Told You I Love You.
Right.
That single was actually written about me. And you can go online on YouTube and Google my name and them, and they
So they sang a song, I Only Told You I Love You?
This is how it happened. I was in Energy Studios one day. I was doing a record, and I went into the lobby, and the lead singer for Papa Roach came out in the middle, and he goes, "Oh, wow, man, this is really nice to meet you." He hadn't seen me in a long time, or see you or whatever. And he goes, "Look, I've been watching this movie that you did. It was called Tattooed and Tight." And I go, yeah.
Tattooed in tights.
Yeah. It was it was a movie that I shot where girls would get tattooed while having sex at the same time. It was the first time it ever got done. A lot of people copied it afterwards, but I was the guy that did it. So sorry, everybody.
I got to check out some of these movies.
Yeah, I know. I'm a fucking porno genius. Whatever. But so I
almost said you got to get back into it, but then
no. There's none of that. There's too much going on. But so he's showing me the movie.
Right.
And I can't believe you're making me tell this story.
But
he goes, look at this girl right here. This one's really hot. And he's pointing to a girl, and I go, oh my God, dude. That girl, I said, that girl is so amazing that, when we were having sex, I almost told her I loved her. And and then as that happened, the producer of their record walked around the corner and he heard the story and he goes, that's your next single. And they wrote a song, and I actually penned the actual line that I almost told you I loved you, and it was about me and about that experience.
Did you get songwriting credit?
They didn't give me publicly they gave it to me. Then they shot a video, and they even put Suspension in the video as an homage to me.
Right.
So it's totally public. You can Google it. They talk about it. They didn't give me any money. And
that's the bottom line. Where's the money?
No money. No money. They talked to me right when it was released. They were like, man, everybody's really loving it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then that was it. I lost touch, and I never heard them again. But that song is about me. That is platinum. How many people can say they had a platinum selling act of whether you like them or not? Right. Their hit single about you and then admit it. Like, look, yo, this isn't about us. It's not about our life. This is about Matt Zane. And that's how just one of my...
we're not going to pay you.
And we're not going to pay you. But
we're going to take the money.
But listen, that's not a new story. I mean, that's why in 2 years, we got a lot of work to do. When she becomes a lawyer, we're going to go after a lot of people. But anyways, not them, because they're all right.
Yeah.
But man, that was exciting. It was cool.
So every time you hear it on the radio, you're like,
Well, it's just not that. It's just like, imagine. I mean, just like, I was just telling a story, just like a story, and it became a song. Like, think about just being able to just talk, and like have musicians feel that what you say had enough impact that they're going to base not just a song, their single, their video for the entire album.
Have you ever had that happen where somebody told you a story? You're like, oh, song.
No.
Not even Alex?
Alex doesn't talk to me much.
Alex is very quiet.
Yeah, he just kind of sits there when we work, and yep, man. I don't even know if he's really listening half the time.
Well, which is good. He's not one of these producers throwing things at you, screaming at you, things like that. I'm sure you've had that.
No, he's great. I love working with the guy. I'm telling you. Listen, I don't know how many of your fans work or live in LA, because I know you're everywhere.
Yeah, but I think most of them do. Yeah.
But I'm telling you, man, for musicians out there, you got to get this guy before it's too late.
Alex Crescione is going to blow up. Yes, please. All the top musicians that are listening to the Dark Mark show, you better get this guy.
Listen, just listen to his work. His band's great. Don't get me wrong. We do shows together. We just did one together about a month ago.
And actually, I think we have a sampling of his band. If you want to play a little bit of that.
Yeah, if there's time, that'd be great.
As long as I have time for my plugs.
Play like a minute of it, and
sweet.
No, it's the other one. Diminished 7. We're gonna play some Diminished 7. I'm sorry, I talking to my producer. All right.
Yeah, that's
Diminished 7.
Thank you.
I kept waiting for the vocals, but
yeah, that's a teaser from the new album that I haven't recorded vocals for yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So when do you anticipate that coming out?
Probably March.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And well, first off, I'm going to get to you, Matt. But do you have anything you want to plug?
Yeah. Let's see. I guess keep a lookout on Facebook for the new album. I'm going to put the track listing up, official track listing, in like probably a month.
And get the old albums, of course.
And all the old albums. You can check us out on diminish7.com, Facebook. Yeah, and that's it. Just check it out and, give it a like on Facebook.
Okay. I will get right on that. And Matt, plug away.
All right, here we go, everybody. Check it out. Brand new year. First show of the year, House of Blues, January 15th, 10 o'clock. House of Blues, January 15th, 10 o'clock. It's going to be a great show. We have a brand new website, society1official.com, society1official.com. You can get all our social media links and everything from there. And tomorrow we're starting a contest where if you sign up for our newsletter, you can be one of the 5 people to win a huge giveaway of our biggest selling DVD, Fearing the Exit, our biggest selling record ever, Exit Through Fear, plus a bunch of brand new decals of all the logos of Society One. All you got to do is sign up for the newsletter and you're automatically entered. The contest goes for 1 month. And you can find all this information and more, again, over at society1official.com.
Wow, that was pretty efficient. Christina, any plugs for you?
Plug something.
For me? No.
Is your boyfriend the greatest?
He's amazing.
Okay. And I don't even want to. I was going to get to your sex life, but we don't have time.
Oh boy,
I'm sure it's all led up to this, right, Matt?
He's a great person.
No, he's cool. I was telling him we've been in the same place at the same time. I know we've run into each other at clubs and we've never talked to each other, but man, we're just 2 motor mouths and we just go along great. And you're welcome on the show anytime, dude.
Listen,
I love it.
I'll give you my number.
I will be at the House of Blues. We'll exchange numbers.
Okay, yeah. Anytime, for real. I had a great time.
Right. And I will be at the House of Blues. That's gonna be a great week. You can go see Matt at the House of Blues on January 15th. That's a Wednesday at 10 o'clock. The next night, Thursday at 10 o'clock, I'm gonna do my show and then I'm gonna go to Flappers. Check me out at Flappers. And this has been a great show, Alex. Once again, you talk a little too much, but it's cool. Christina, you're lovely. Matt, you're a lucky man.
I know.
And Matt, thanks a lot. This has been a great show. And I have to thank above all Elizabeth Aston, who put this all together. And please come home safe and keep warm. And everybody have a wonderfully creepy week. Goodbye. Matt's? We're gonna ride out with some Society One. How about that? All right.
Great, absolutely.
What song do you want to play?
Play me.
Play me, and we're gonna go out onto some Society One. Everybody have a wonderfully creepy week.